right, good morning. It's Donald and Mary, and we're here to bring you your morning weather, water, and trail chatter report. And so Mary's going to take it away with the weather and water, and then after I'm going to tell you what's going on with closures with the campsites and shelters from Springer to the other side of the Smokies. And then we have some stuff going on around the world for news, hiker news. All right, Mary.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. Good morning, everybody. Right now in Blairsville, it is 72 degrees and partly cloudy. We're looking at a high of 88 today with scattered clouds and the possibility of an isolated thunderstorm developing this afternoon. Some of the storms may contain strong gusty winds. There is a 30% chance of rain. And then tonight, 64 degrees, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible, and winds will be light and variable. Up on Blood Mountain today, we're looking at a high of 82 degrees, falling to 76 later on this afternoon. There is a chance of showers and thunderstorms after 12 p.m. Some of the storms could produce heavy rain. It will be mostly cloudy. Winds are 5 miles per hour with a 50% chance of rain. Tonight, 64 degrees. Chance of showers and thunderstorms before 1 a.m. Some of those storms could produce heavy rain with a 50% chance of rain going on. Right now, water is good on the trail. Make sure you top off at Hawk Mountain Shelter. You have 6.2 miles if you're hiking north until you get to Justice Creek. Also right now, just before you climb Blood Mountain, Slaughter Creek does have a good water supply at the moment. That will dry up as summer progresses, especially if we go without much rain. Other news, right now we are looking at, well, let's talk a little bit more about the weather first. I'm sorry. The weather is very warm right now, so just a reminder for everybody that's out there to dress accordingly. Be sure to hydrate and take frequent breaks. Also, let's remember that our fur friends that are hiking with us, they get hot and need water also. They need the breaks too, and make sure you check their paws for blisters and tears from the terrain. Over the years that we've been doing the shuttles, we have had folks call us needing to get off the trail. Their animal is overheated. Also, they have had blisters on their paws, and sometimes they get torn up from the rocks and the roots and everything. So that's something always to keep in mind. We want to keep your fur friends hiking with you and happy and healthy. And then up in the North Carolina, Tennessee border area there on I-40 where that recent flash flooding and rock slide occurred, the Tennessee Department of Transportation is hoping to have I-40 between North Carolina and Tennessee open on or before July 3rd. And that was also in the area that was already damaged by Hurricane Helene last year and was already in the process of being repaired. They're also reminding the semi-truck drivers and those with commercial vehicles that US 441 Newfound Gap Road and US 129 Tail of the Dragon are not for use by the large commercial vehicles and semi-trucks. They're asking that they stay on the interstates. All right, I'm going to turn this over to Donald now, and he's going to talk about some other stuff we have going on out here. Donald.
All right, thank you, Mary. Awesome. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and tell what's going on for closures first, and then after we'll move on to some news. So, excuse me, we still have shelter and campsite closures. For Georgia, we have Springer Mountain for 2 weeks to assess the bear situation. Did they do another 2 weeks?
I just haven't heard anything about it being reopened yet.
Oh, okay. So today, actually, the 26th was the last day of the closure. So today, I will call and see what's going on down to the Blue Ridge District down here for the ranger station or DNR, or I'll ask a GATC member some. All right, and then we'll find out what's going on with Springer Mountain. So for the Great Smoky Mountain National Parks, we have closed Molly's Ridge Shelter, Icewater Spring Shelter, Peck's Corner Shelter, and Siler's Ball Shelter. Now, all due to bear activity and or broken bear cable systems. Closed campsites number 49, number 90, number 13, bear warnings at Charlie's Bunyan campsites number 21, number 86, number 13, and number 15, guys. So remember, L&T is super important. Now, next, I want to move on to a rescue, a 14-year-old boy. And so this happened in California at Mount Whitney, and it happened over the weekend, I believe, or on June 10th. So last Thursday or Wednesday, I think it was, right?
Well, today's what, the 26th? So about 2 weeks ago?
All right, so about 2 weeks ago. All right, and so a 14-year-old boy walked off of a ledge on Mount Whitney, and he fell 120 feet. So a boy named Zane and a father named Ryan were climbing Mount Whitney, and they were going to do an up and down on the most technical route, which required lots of rock scrambling and a little bit of bouldering, yada yada yada. And so they were going to do an up and down in one day. Most people break it up. There's a primitive campsite or a designated camping area. And so on June 10th, they summited Whitney via Mountaineers route. It is the shorter, more technical route. The father was an experienced mountaineer and has summited other mountains, but this was the son's first time on Mount Whitney. Zane was a long-distance runner, swimmer, and he did triathlon, so Ryan, the father, was not worried. The father, Ryan, said the son, Zane, was in better shape than he was. So the father said that this would be Mount Whitney would be his introduction to mountaineering. So this was his first actual trip up a mountain. So Zane the son began showing signs of altitude sickness. The pair had already done the hardest part of the trail, and the hike back down was a few miles. There was an easier route to their vehicle, so Ryan, the father, wanted to use that route instead because Zane started to hallucinate, and he thought he was making breakfast. He said he saw Kermit the Frog. He said he saw snowmen, among other things. And so he was like in and out of a dream state. And so the pair was needing to stop due to Zane believing he had already finished their hike numerous times over. Zane told his father that he did not know if he was dreaming or not. At this point, a separate group of hikers contacted search and rescue teams due to Zane's condition. Zane started to make strange and erratic movements towards a ledge. When Ryan grabbed his son to stop him, Zane told him he was heading to the car, which was actually several thousand feet down the trail. Zane continued to try and walk towards the ledge, and when Ryan grabbed his son to stop him, Zane told his father he was going to dinner. This was like, he did this a couple times. He wouldn't stop doing it. So Ryan was losing his mind, the father, and began to cry. And while he was wiping the tears away, Zane walked away and he didn't hear it. And Zane walked off the ledge, or the edge, and tumbled 120 feet. There just happened to be an EMT in the vicinity, and they came to assist. The EMT went to work, got the rescuers notified, and so a helicopter rescue was needed, which took 6 hours for them to get up there and get Zane out. He's now in a hospital with, he's in an induced coma, and he broke his pelvis, a finger, and had head trauma.
Wow.
They say it was a miracle that he did not get any more injuries from this, or sustain any more injuries, and so the father believes it had something to do because he was showing signs of altitude sickness and sleep deprivation, exhaustion, maybe dehydration, who knows. But definitely the boy was messed up. I don't know what it's from, but I want to say this, that just because someone swims or does long distance runs or does triathlons does not make them immune to altitude.
Right.
And so the article started off with experienced, and then it went into that this was his first time actually up there. And it's confusing to actually see that because one part is saying experienced hikers, and then you see, well, this was his first time up on maybe not on a 14er, but definitely exerting himself on a technical trail and having to, scramble and stuff, and probably wanting to keep up with dad, probably pushed himself past the limit. And it even sounds like the father may have even kind of blown off the altitude sickness thing, and not blown it off, but maybe didn't take it quite so seriously, man, and thought he could take it, and then, and then still summit.
Situation
Right.
Yeah.
Because everyone reacts different. You know what I mean, dude? But definitely, probably everything together, caused this. So that being said, I'm super happy that's all that's all that happened, man. Hopefully, right, man, it could have been much worse. All right, and so we have a search underway for a missing Southern California hiker. She is 60 years old. Monica Ariza was last seen on June 22nd around 9:10 a.m., according to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. She set out for a hike in Angeles National Forest, and her last known location was near Mount Waterman Area 6,000-foot gate on Angels Crest Highway. The search is ongoing. And so I hope they find her.
I hope so too.
And did you do this yet? Okay.
Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, great. And so I was also reading about the Brazilian hiker that fell into an Indonesian volcano. And I believe it's called Renjin. And she is deceased. There's some stories flying around that I had said something about it yesterday, that the Brazilian embassy had to get involved because I guess there were some lies. They said that they had sent water and food down to the hiker, and they absolutely did not. And from what I understand is they didn't even get their ass into gear for a couple days to try and
That's my
rescue them.
understanding of it too. It was kind of like a lackadaisical, like, okay. And it was just kind of almost put off like whatever. And like you said, until the Brazilian government got involved with it, or embassy, they took it seriously finally. And I think anything like that happens should be taken seriously ASAP.
Yeah, I guess she fell. I said like a couple hundred feet. It was a couple hundred meters, so she fell like 1,000 feet down.
They were saying, I think I read that they were saying that she actually slid down further after the initial fall into there also.
Hardcore.
It is.
So they went down, and I believe they've retrieved the body now, possibly.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
So that's so sad. So they have retrieved the body. There is some controversy behind it about what happened. Why did it happen? I still think it was the guide's fault. I can't.
You can't leave somebody alone in a place that they're not familiar with, and if you're taking them on a tour, I would assume, I'm just assuming, that they shouldn't be wandering around out there by themselves. I don't know. I've never been there, but you don't leave people behind.
Definitely. And so, I saw a video. There were multiple tents lined up. It was like a little city of tents, and the group was 5 people. So I'm just going to say there were probably multiple groups. Like, I know that Kilimanjaro, I've seen over the years that
I did want to say something else to that, where you're saying you saw multiple tents light up. I did read, now that you say that, I guess the tours and everything continued on business as usual.
Yes, dude. That's what I'm screaming, man. They just kept doing it. Like people were, and this chick's down there dying, and no one's doing a thing. It's just, it's insane. And so, same thing happened up there on Kilimanjaro too, or not same thing, but Kilimanjaro has like I used to get. I'm sure everyone else has, but in those hiker rooms, man, these people ask you to go on these like, guided tours, and I can take you up. Anyways, man, that's pretty much what this was. Just some wild ass company, bro, dragging you up to the top of a volcano or a mountain, man, and then, they may not have any wilderness training or medical skills or any type of rescue. You know what I mean, dude? They're just
Somebody making a buck.
yeah, Joe
hauling you up the
Schmo
mountain.
sitting at a gap. Hey, man, I'll drag you up that mountain, no problem, man. This is what happens right here, man. And so it's fucking sad, man. Pardon my French, dudes. And so, but it's super sad.
It is sad.
All right, well, so today we have multiple shuttles going on. Mary will be gone most of the day. Jordan and I will be sitting here, and then I've got some stuff I got to take care of, and then I'll be here for you guys, man. So if anyone needs anything at all, give Mary and I a jingle. One love, peace.